Hello, and welcome to Team Franco Bodybuilding Podcast. This is Joe, and we are on episode number 49. And today we're going to discuss coaching, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And specifically, it will be coaching in the bodybuilding world. And as you know, bodybuilding world to me is all the divisions, so it's not just for male bodybuilding. I'm pretty much going to give you a little history, how I entered the game of being a contest prep coach, specifically for those who compete or desire to compete, along with some stories of what I saw, over the last 20 years now to what I see today, and hopefully clear up some things and to give you guys, if you're looking for a coach, some advice. To how to figure out if a coach is even needed, how to pick one out, how to give it a trial period. And some of you might be listening that might be working with someone who, you're not too comfortable with. And obviously it has to come down to being a good fit. So, it's an interesting topic. It's sort of a request that I had. So I want to expand on it. And again, just like, as you know me, I don't script these. I may jot down a few notes. Actually, this one I didn't, made a few mental notes. So it's having a conversation. So whatever comes to my head, you guys are going to hear it first. And yeah, sometimes when I'm done with these, I listen and I'm like, shit, I wish I would have said this. But you know what? It is what it is. It comes out and it's raw. Let's put it that way. Now, before I begin, there is an episode that I did way back when I first started doing these podcasts. I'm looking it up right now. Yes, back in February of 2020, the podcast episode number 7, I did one, and it's titled Top 5 Benefits of Using a Physique Coach and What to Look For. I'm not going to cover what I covered back then. They were basically the qualities, in a nutshell, breaking it down, top 5 benefits of what you should look for. But I highly suggest for you to also listen to that one after you listen to this one. So it's TFB Podcast number 7. So take a look at that, scroll back on the main page for my podcast, and you'll see it there. But it's a good segue or in addition to what we're going to discuss today. All right, a little history again, so just bear with me. About 20 years ago, even longer now, 25 years ago, I was personal training. It was just one-on-one clients, in and out of gyms, my place, traveling, all that stuff. And bodybuilding, was a part of my life because I was heavily competing in the 90s. But the idea of actually coaching bodybuilders didn't happen until the early 2000s for me, where I had some clients come to my house, so on and so forth. And I would travel to different shows, okay? And basically, when I traveled to different shows, there might have been like one other coach or two other coaches there that had, their teams or whatnot. And I had the time on my hand because this was before I had kids, so I would go to these shows with my clients, and I would have 2, 3, sometimes 4 clients that were local to compete in the show. Well, this was the first time, I would talk to another coach, and we would compare notes and so on and so forth. But it was the first, I wouldn't say ugly moment, but I saw how some coaches are super competitive with other coaches. And the case in point for me is that I would be at this show supporting my people, obviously. And this other coach, he would basically say, "Oh, Joe, how many guys or girls do you have in today's show?" And, throughout the years, those first couple of years putting these clients in, he would always ask me that. And I'm like, why do you care? Well, obviously, he was competitive. He was, measuring up my business with his, and I just thought it was kind of weird, I mean, it was like a dick measuring contest. Like, really, dude? I mean, none of your business. I mean, if you hear some of these clients talk about me, great, but, who cares? And coincidentally enough, as those years passed, that same coach ended up feeding me a lot of clients. Not because he wanted to, it's because I was hearing a lot of complaints about favoritism. Now, that is a common thing even to this day, where certain coaches will give more, attention to, especially with social media today, about, oh, look at what he or she did, it's all me, it's all my planning, and not really giving the client much credit. But it was, a sad situation, because I must have had a half a dozen people come out to me this one year that worked with this guy, and they all said the same thing. I competed under him. We went to a show, but I was left in the corner where he just focused on his one star of the show or whatnot, which is totally wrong, because everyone's paying the same amount of money. And even to expand off of this, he would charge, and I think this is a practice of this day, which blows me away. He would charge the actual competitor a number of dollars just for them to show up. I have never done that. I mean, I would pay the backstage pass. If the client wanted to pick it up, I would argue with him, like, no, I'm here. I want to see the whole show. I'm here also to support you and to guide you through, the day itself. Those are just some ugly things and early on in my career that I witnessed. And, it's an integrity thing, or a lack of. I mean, you do because you want to do, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. But to try to price gouge in order to give favoritism to certain clients, that really doesn't fly. So that's something that, you need to look into when you are looking and you want to take that leap on hiring someone to help you during your contest prep. Do the research. I mean, I've had people tell me that they've been scoping me out for a year or two, and they talked to clients of mine before they even wanted to email me to gather information about my coaching specifics and costs and all that. I think that is freaking fantastic. I'm like, wow, that is so cool that you are, and you should do it, because you are spending your hard-earned money on someone to help you change your physique, which is, an important thing. Now, that is why research, I've always said, is key. And, it's great. So if you're interested in looking out, besides asking that potential coach questions to see if you're in a good fit, and I'm going to cover that a little bit later, reach out to their current clients or even past clients if you can dig that deep and see, like, oh, you worked with Joe, why aren't you anymore? Or, whatever the person's name is, Do your research, because, again, it's an investment on your body, your mind, and time. Now, another thing, and especially why you want to do your research and learn about past clients or why they may not be working with them, is that sometimes, there could be a lousy experience, or they're just not a good fit, but you're not sure whose fault it was. But sometimes the ugliness of coaching may rear its head when it comes to these coaches that basically do drastic tactics and destroy a person's hormones. I see that more with women, because that's just what's happened. A few years ago, another coach out there, I would say they have success, but sometimes they also do not pay the full attention, because I've gotten clients who told me that, but also would kill them as far as doing extreme measures instead of saying and being honest with the client, listen, you know what, maybe we need more time, or we need to back off since your body's not responding, because your health should be a priority. I mean, that's the coach's first priority, is the person's health. I mean, I get it, where the last couple months, if you're a top tier competitor, you want to freaking grind away and push yourself and do a lot more cardio. And all right, everything has its place, but at what risk? To push you in the hospital, to put you on medication, to make you feel like shit even after you compete. Those are also the things that you need to look into to see what kind of reputation this coach has. And I've gotten a couple clients that have given me reports, basically who went through all that. And just recently, I started a new in-person client who went through a prep, didn't finish the prep because of COVID, but followed the lead of the coach and realized, what, this isn't right for me. There's no way I can continue eating this low amount of calories this fast and doing all this extra workouts and everything. And it's just, it's just something that you also need to focus on, because your health should be priority number one. And you've heard me say over and over again through my podcast that not only looking your best on show day is important, not only belonging on show day, belonging on stage is important, it's what you do afterwards is equally important, as far as, coming off of your prep, reverse dieting, going to maintenance and calories, listening to your body, because you want to avoid all those crazy things. So that is something else that you really need to research as far as the ugliness may go, as far as, getting the attention that is needed, equal attention via, if it's in-person online coaching, the health that really matters, and not to forget the respect. That happens also. Basically, again, going off of what I was saying, that, certain coaches may promote or push their own clients, but are they giving you the equal amount of respect? I mean, typically everyone pays the same amount to a coach, so you deserve the same respect and time as anyone else. So again, I'm repeating myself and yapping. Go back and do the research. So when it comes to the fit, okay, what do I mean by fit? That means philosophies. There are many ways of skinning the cat and reaching your results. Diet number one, flexible dieting, keto dieting, strict meal planning, whatever it is. My stance by now and my philosophies on why. But going in, you got to ask yourself, what would work best for me? Would flexible dieting be best for me, knowing that I can change up my foods when I want to? Or do I need that obedient 3-food diet? And that's a little sarcasm, but some people thrive off of that. So therefore, you need to look at your coach or potential coach to see if they are a good fit when it comes to how they prescribe their diet. Now, as me, I don't care if you eat the same foods. I'll give the macros. You make your meal plan. You want to stick to the same foods to make it easier. All right, more power to you. But it's just a matter of knowing that you can change it when you want, and it's not going to mess you up. That's my philosophy in a quick summary. But it's the fit that matters as far as the diet and the initial thoughts of what you want to do with this particular coach, if they align with you. So this is something that you need to also look into and pick their brain. The fit as far as training, their philosophies of training. If you're a client of mine or a past and listening, I'm back to the basics. Basically, I have dozens and dozens and dozens of workouts written for a variety of level of fitness people, athletes, and bodybuilders. And it all goes down to compound movement, sticking to the basics, focusing on strength, linear progress, progressive overload with my VIP or 531. That is my philosophy. It's just about getting stronger, stimulating the muscle through strength gains, and the body will respond. Now, there's certain coaches that are favoring, all sorts of funky stuff or whatever is new that's popping out. Circuit training, giant sets, all drop sets, all supersets, all timed under tension focus, where they may, use a watch and you got to do a set for a couple of minutes, whatever. I'm just making shit up now. Some coaches believe in that. And yes, it may work, but is that something that's going to work for you in the long run? Okay? So really the summary between the diet And the workouts really comes down to your happiness and the longevity that you believe that you can stick with, have the progress and the results that you're after. So again, asking questions, figuring out their philosophies when it comes to diet and exercise are super important before you get started. And then you get into it and then you're like, shit, I need my money back. This isn't working out. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've had clients that weren't a good fit for whatever the reason may be. They may not like my workouts. They may think, oh, Joe, I can do more. And I'll be like, yeah, add a couple sets or add an exercise. I will accommodate, but there's been a few out of the thousands that will be like, this is not a good fit for me. I want this kind of, I want someone to tell me what to eat. I want, these workouts to be this way or not your way. And you know what? Many, many years ago, I would probably take offense to it, but I like to believe that I've matured. So I'm like, you know what? It happens. Because if it didn't work out, I'm going to treat you with the respect. I will give you the money back that's prorated or whatever and wish you the best and let you know that my door is always open. And it's true because there's no reason to bash anyone, on social media or to be mean or have resentment because they may not be a good fit. And if you're a coach listening to this, this is my big advice to you, where not everyone is going to believe in what you believe in, okay? Even though you may have all these pro wins and success and everything, there's going to be a few people that you're just not going to mesh with. And that is all right? Because sometimes people need to go on their own path, figure stuff out for themselves, go to a different coach. Hey, they may have great success and you may never hear from them again. For one, I believe in letting people go. If that's the path that they want to take, so be it. And I can give you a stat. I average every month a little more than 3 comeback clients. What is a comeback client? Someone that I worked with in the past. Someone that I either prepped or helped or whatever the case may be. And it's because, we left on good terms, basically. And I don't hold any grudges. So to me, that shows that relationships with your clients becomes an important part with the business end of everything. You treat someone with respect their needs to go somewhere else, try a different coach. Hey, you know what? They may come back to you one day, just because you were cool about it. And it's the truth with me. I mean, that's what the truth's all about. It's not making it bigger than what it really is and allowing people to do their own thing. I have no qualms or issues with that. But this is something else you can research and learn, because if you challenge this coach that you're working with, and if they give you shit right back, well, you know what? That's not going to be a good fit, and you need to get out of there. Asking questions is all part of the process. Yes, you need to trust because you're spending the money on them. You need to trust the idea and the philosophies that they have, and often you need to give it time with consistency and do your part and meet that coach halfway. But even after all that, that person is not giving you the respect or the knowledge back or the attention that you deserve because you are a paying client, then it's not a good fit. So these are just some little things that, again, whenever I do these podcasts, I start off talking slow and then I start rambling and get on edge and get all hyped up. So I'm not sure if you picked up on that or not. So in summary, do your research. There's good, bad, and ugly coaches out there. Now, a good coach is someone that you can have a relationship for many, many years to come. And if they treat you with all the respect as a person, as an athlete, you know that their door is always going to be open, okay? I mean, just saying before, with my comebacks, I've had people come back to me that I maybe coached them for a bodybuilding show 8 years ago. And they come back because, They just know how I treated them before, and they were like, hey, let's jump back on with Joe and see how things go. I just had that happen this past summer, and, it was cool because this one particular woman, she competed first in figure, then went to bikini, and then figure, and then she took this big break, started her own business. She came back in January, competed in August, and she won her Masters Pro card. And I was so elated and happy for her to see her do this, because it was always a dream, and it just wasn't the right timing in the beginning. And she got her life together, very successful person, and now she had that success that she always wanted on stage. So that was like a movement for me, because after 8 years, she comes back, and we have the greatest success, and she freaking nailed it. So that is something that you need to think about when you hire this potential coach. Workouts, diet, respect, I've said that about 20 times already, are all things that you need to look into to make sure they are a good fit for you. Okay? I think I'm going to wrap this one up. And if you guys have any other ideas as far as topics I can cover, I'm always welcomed to them. And I'm going to sign off. So any questions or concerns, please hit me up at fitfranco@verizon.net, teamfrancobodybuilding.com for all your fitness needs as far as prepping, lifestyle changes, posing, what have you. And I'm out. Have a good night, guys.